Hi there. My name is Jennifer Bailey, and I'm here today with David Kelly, CEO of the Learning Guild, to pick his brain and learn more about his thoughts around the deafening buzz of both ChatGPT and AI-created content within learning and development. David, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thanks for inviting me.
Great. So let's start off with a short introduction of your current role with the Learning Guild and how you've seen things evolve within the industry over the past few years.
Sure. So my role as the CEO of the Learning Guild is to keep my finger on the pulse of what's going on in the industry. We provide a number of different professional development resources that people can use to develop skills and stay on top of the curve of what's going on. So in many ways, a big part of my job is keeping my finger on the pulse of what's going on in the world of learning and technology, and helping people make sense of it and put it into the practices that they apply in their work.
Great. So ChatGPT and AI all over LinkedIn and industry blogs, and you see it everywhere, right? So how would you say both of these are impacting L&D's future?
So I think that there's a couple of different ways to answer that. I think that the two things that I would probably hit on the most are, it's interesting that you asked the question of ChatGPT and AI. Because that is literally, as you go through the feed, the two things that you see the most, as if they were two separate things. Because ChatGPT is a form of AI,
right.
and I think that they are both incredibly powerful tools. AI is going to be larger than generative AI, which ChatGPT is an example of, but the generative AI and ChatGPT and as a specific tool for that has taken over all of our attention in terms of how it can be doing. So I do think it's going to be transformative, not just the generative AI piece, but also larger scopes of AI as well. I think that ChatGPT is a good first example of how AI is going to impact our work, just in the context of it's enabling us to offload a lot of the stuff that humans do today that machines can do better, and in many ways. I know a lot of people look at it as a threat, and in some ways it may be a threat to some of the things that we do today, but there's also an opportunity attached to that. So a lot of the stuff that takes up a lot of learning and development professionals' time today can be automated through ChatGPT and tools like it, so that we can focus more on the human element of the work that we do.
Definitely, for sure. And I'll say I use it in my own role every day. And it's more or less like helps me generate ideas, right? And think through different things that I might not have thought of by myself. It might have taken me a little bit more time. So I definitely see it helping automate some of the tasks that we do just across different various roles, right?
Yeah.
So, I think about memes that you see. Robots are going to take over the world, right? So what is the relationship you see between AI and humans?
Well, that is the prototypical image that's there. It's always the robot who's taking things away from the humans. And I'll start with an opinion that probably doesn't resonate well with a lot of people, which is in the sense of the robots should take over. And I mean that in the context of, if there's something that a robot can do better than you, take advantage of that. Like, it's not a matter of robots or people, it's a matter of robots with people, or AI with people, because AI is, it doesn't always take the form of the most powerful applications of AI don't take the form of a robot. It's invisible to us, but it's giving us the opportunity to allow a machine to do rote tasks, things that that humans are doing today, that it can do more efficiently, so that we can focus on the more human elements. And we tend to focus mostly on the automation piece of AI, which is a big piece of it. But I loved your example earlier, because it shows how when you work with AI, it can really help the human element. So for instance, whenever I'm thinking of trying to think of a creative new idea, I kind of always set a list of, I'm going to come out with 15 ideas attached to this. And the reason I say 15 is because the first 10 are kind of knee-jerk reactions. Like, it's almost like, get them out of the way. It's the obvious things the obvious examples and the ideas that come from that sort of a thought process. And 10 to 15 for me tend to be like what I need to work on. And that's where the creative juices start flowing and start coming up with the ideas that aren't the obvious ones. 10 to 15 usually are the most creative ideas because they were the hardest to come up with. And you take a tool like ChatGPT and you say, here's a scenario, give me 10 ideas that I could apply to it. Let the computer get the obvious ones out of the way, and you find 5 other ones that aren't on the list. That's a better use of your time, because and it gives you some framework, but then it also takes the easy stuff off the board so that you can focus more on, all right, well, given that context of what that just came out with, what can I add to the list that the computer can figure out on its own? And I think that's a simple application of a simple example of how it's not just always automation or the computer's going to do it or I'm going to do it. Sometimes it's leveraging the functionality of an AI tool like ChatGPT to enhance the functionality of your human element. And I think that's where the true potential of what we can do as learning professionals and workers in the workforce in general can be focused on.
Yeah, for sure. I like what you're saying there. So, you know about Bongo, and we are a video assessment tool. So, lots of people see ChatGPT as a threat, right? But how, knowing what you know about Bongo, like how do you see it not being a threat to a product like Bongo?
So for me, the first word that comes to mind is scale. I mean, you think about the ability to give people feedback on their performance. I can only give that to you one person at a time usually. My ability to give you that sort of reasonable feedback. You do something, I have to get it, I have to watch it, I have to think about it and give you that sort of feedback. And again, a lot of the feedback that I'm going to give you, I might see 5 videos in a row and see some of the same themes and be giving very similar feedback.
Right.
But when you take a tool like Bongo and you plug it in there, it's doing a lot of that for you. It does the analysis. You put some criteria in, and it does the analysis for you, and it's able to assess the performance that someone's doing and give them very valuable feedback in almost real time of how they can improve their performance.
Right.
And that enables me, one person, and like I've spent a lot of time in my as training professionals in roles that I've been in, as a department of one. I could scale myself limitlessly with a tool like that to provide this layer of support, even as one individual. And that's a perfect example of the transformative nature of AI, being able to do something like that with a tool and scale effective assessment and coaching to people just through the tool itself, rather than having that to be one-to-one on a human level, is transformative for organizations.
Yep, definitely. And, I am proud to say today, we actually recently launched something called AI Coach. And this is something that is powered by generative AI. And it's providing learners with 24/7 access to personalized, objective feedback so they can practice and refine their skills at any time, anywhere, asynchronously. And it's actually, we've been doing lots of testing with it as we've rolled it out. And it's just amazing the type of feedback AI is providing through Bongo. And you could actually maybe argue that it's even better than what a human might do, right? So it's really cool to see, things like ChatGPT and generative AI and, all the things and how different organizations are going to leverage it to make their technology better. So anyhow, David, I have one last dying question for you.
Yep.
You think robots will take over the world?
I think robots, if there's something that a robot can do better than a human, then it should. And we should not resist that. We should embrace it. So yes, I think robots will take over aspects of our world, and they should.
Yep, I definitely agree with that. So thanks again for joining us today, David. It will be interesting to see how quickly both ChatGPT and AI develop in the learning world and what different organizations will come out with. It's already moving so fast, so it's really exciting, and I really appreciate you joining me today to chat about this topic.
Oh, thanks for inviting me. I enjoyed the conversation.
Great, thank you.